Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Void Rivals, issue 1 through 6. Sick. It's one of those kind of situations where I'm like, you know what? I feel bad that the only way I was drawn to this comic book is because they said it was going to be this big thing, the starter and further continuation of the Energon universe. Breaks my heart. Why? Because this series could and should last on its own, completely independent of Energon. It's a shame. This is an incredible story. I'm fixated on what's going to happen next. I'm reading these issues, 1, 2, 3. I'm just like, okay. And I'm stopping. I'm thinking to myself, wait, what issues are left? Is this going to be it for me? When I actually got to the end of issue 6, I'm like, crap. Because issue 4 and 5, I got to the end. I was like, wait, there's still one more, right? Oh, man. Such a good story. Incredible, like where it's going. And clearly there's this message of unity of the people and whatnot. There may be some people are going to say like, oh, it's very SJW-ish and whatnot. I guess it can be argued that way in a slight manner, but I really don't see that at all. I do think that we all, for the most part, long for a day when everybody's just united, when we can see that the differences within us are so minuscule compared to the similarities in us. But we're going to have to go from there and find out more. So let's talk about all these issues, Void Rivals 1 through 6 from Image Skybound. Let's first talk about who made this comic books. Robert Kirkman is the writer. Lorenzo De Felici is the artist. Matthias Lopez is the colorist. And Russ Wooten on letters. Whole bunch of covers out there. Well, looks like about 5. So yeah. Do it, baby, do it. Yeah, get the cover you want. So, issue 1, I know I talked about before, and it was really cool. A really good story, and all of a sudden they find Jetfire. And they're so shocked by this transforming robot that they don't even ask, hey, wait, could you give us a ride off this mudball? Because here's these 2 rival clans, right? What are the name of these guys? The Agorians and the Zeratonians. And these knuckleheads, they each send out a single pilot to fly out to try and get to this comet. The one, because they're, they need water. And the comet should potentially have water on it. And this planet, they're dying. They're genuinely dying out there. The other planet's doing really well, but they don't want their rivals over there to be able to get their hands on the comet. The comet's going to be going somewhere near the Sacred Ring. This is a very weird thing. It looks like it's a black hole, some kind of a void, right? Where these rivals are around, right? Title drop. And there's a ring around it. And this ring is broken and separated in half. And again, this is part of the Energon universe, Transformers, all that stuff. You look at this and you think, this looks like the leadership matrix when it's opened, right? You open the leadership matrix, the matrix of leadership, and all of a sudden, good things happen and wisdom and energy is spread everywhere, right? And what happens when you close it? Well, I think that's what we're going to find out here, because this is pretty cool. It could also look just a little bit like Unicron. I'm just saying. Because all this stuff kind of sort of just a little bit hinted comes up later. So we've got this one dude, Derek, and he's a part of what group is he a part of? The Agorians. And he's got a hand droid. It's a little red gauntlet, not to look like Iron Man or anything. And it talks to him. And it's not the toughest thing in the world, right? But it talks to him, and it can also control the hand itself, so he can reach out, and if he's unconscious and laying face down on the ground, he can start moving himself around and get himself out of danger or closer to something that could potentially help him, right? So that's cool. I actually like that. It's been used multiple times, whether he's conscious or unconscious. I dig that. The thing will also talk to him. The Zeratonians are not supposed to actually know that the hand droid exists, because this is an upper elite thing. They're not supposed to know or ever hear it talk. You kill one of these guys on sight. You kill one of these guys if they hear the hand droid talk or give any kind of wisdom. You kill these other guys, and the Zertonians are taught no differently. Oh, these are our rivals. We hate them. We have to kill them, right? They're trying to keep us from resources, and they're both right. I mean, when push comes to shove, they're both kind of right, right? So again, the Ogorians are the ones who are doing well in life. Anyway, so Dirac, the Argonian, is sent there to actually stop the Zertonian pilot from getting the resources, the water from the comet. So interesting to look at who the bad guy is supposed to be in this, right? They get into some kind of an accident. They both get slingshot around and sent down to this distant planet. They have no idea where they are. Even the hand droid can't figure it out. The Zertonians do not have hand droids. They have very minimal technology, just for the sake of conversation. Now, there's a very funny foray where the Orgorian is thinking to himself, "Oh, I'm here," and talking to hand droid. "Oh, I must be here completely by myself," and da 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 da. It gives a whole new meaning to talk to the hand, right? But all of a sudden, and he's like, "Do you think that the Zertonian is here?" It's like, "Oh no, the probability that's really low." And all of a sudden, a rock hits the hull of the ship, and he turns around, and there's this Zertonian. It's a female, and she threw this rock. She's like, "Ah!" They go at it, and the Argorian winds up winning the fight. Winds, and picks up a rock. It's about to bash her freaking skull open, and then just thinks, "You know what? Screw it," and just gets up and kind of walks away. Well, he is a dude, so I mean, come on, you know. So she still doesn't trust him, but he, and the hand droid is telling the Argonian, "Listen, you need to kill this chick. She's heard me talk. I did this on purpose, I'm sure. She's going to try and kill you. This is borderline treason. This is actually pouring into treasonous actions if you do not kill her, right? Action to not kill. Huh. The refusal of an action? Refusal to act? Anyway. So I'm loving this, and he's refusing, and he makes a good point. He says, materials from her ship, materials from my ship. If they're both together, do we have a better chance of getting one of the ships to work? It's like, yeah, because either of the ships by themselves was not going to work. So you have to combine the two ships to make at least one of the ships work, and her ship is in better working order. Now, their technology is very similar, while at the same time different enough. I mean, hey, and that matters. That actually matters to a certain degree. It's funny. It's really funny. They go off and in the course they wind up meeting Jetfire. All this stuff is in issue 1. And then she winds up accidentally connecting a positive connector to another positive connector. And that can only blow things up. Working engineering, I actually saw a guy do that, hooked up 2 power generators to each other. And it's like, both generators putting out power. Which one's going to win? Oh, that's right. Neither. Or if you're lucky, maybe one's power is up a high and one is up below. And therefore the one with the low would die and the other one would be like, "I stand victorious. There can be only one power generator." But all that being what it is, this was not good. And this was, at the time, what was it, 1997, 1998? That was about a $200,000 mistake. Calculating just for inflation on that one. So anyway, fun times. So they have to work extra hard and actually combine the two ships very pointedly, make one ship out of 2, not just separate parts, in order to get something to work. And she's still untrusting. He's more trusting, just he's kind of making mistakes with trusting her in the sense that she could have killed him at any point. You find out later on that he probably should have, because when they finally figure things out, they get sent here, there, and everywhere, and they're trying to get back home, and all of a sudden they get captured by some ship. And I remember seeing this creature once before, and I wasn't sure where, and I thought it must be on Transformers, and turns out I was right. Gets caught by this creature that on one of the generation 3 or excuse me, season 3 or 4 episodes, the ones that came after Transformers the movie, there's this creature. It's just he's a snake. He's a lizard, saying kind of thing, like a frog with teeth, but he's a snake. He's always doing these deals, da 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 da. I don't remember which episode or whatever, but I remember Rodimus Prime, I think, had to deal with this guy on at least one occasion. Well, he shows up in this particular regard. I'm like, that's actually really funny. I recognized him almost perfectly until later on I saw, okay, I get it. He's also got a Quintesson on this ship. It's one of the jurors, I think, whatever it is. Not one of the five faces guys, but the other ones that would have the tentacly arms and would crack the whip and stuff like that and bring them up and how do you plead, that sort of thing. So that was actually really cool. There's some kind of a big scorpion thing that they got to fight and da 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 da. This sleazy guy is doing everything to try and make some money. He's realizing I can make money off of the Quintesson. I can't make any money off of you guys. There are no bounties out there for you guys, so you're free to go. In fact, if you take the stupid Quintesson, I'll actually give you the ship. I'll give you the Quintesson ship and things like that. Or no. He's like, I'll take. I'd like you to take the Quintesson with you, but if you don't, all right, fine. But what it is I want your ship because it's got the metals from both of your planets, and they're actually pretty valuable. So then he goes and says, here, take the Quintesson ship, and it's the big rounded one that spins when it flies. Really cool stuff. I don't want to go into super details about what happens here, but you actually get to meet Shockwave at one point from the Transformers. This was actually an important meeting because he points out that most of the Cybertronians are actually on ice. They're in stasis because they don't have the energy to continue on. Very cool detail that I do not recall from the cartoon or the comic book. So absolutely love that because you always wonder, where are all the thriving Cybertronians? How come they're not all at war and stuff like that? Yeah, most of them had to be shut down because of the war. I get that. That's cool. Waiting for Megatron to go since Jetfire failed in his mission. So sick, dude. I'm loving some of this stuff. At one point, when they finally get ready to go back home, they're thinking, we'll take this Quintesson ship, we'll go right in the middle by where the sacred ring is, and we'll both take us an escape pod and jettison out. Now, they only thought of this idea 3 hours before they got home when they had a day and a half minimum, about 3 days, to figure this stuff out before, and they just procrastinated. Well, by procrastinating, the chick, the Zertonian, she decides to make some kind of a plan where I'm now going to kidnap this guy. I'm going to knock him out because it turns out he's a pilot. He's the best pilot there, and he's actually the son of the prime minister guy, the high minister of the Agorians. She, however, is actually a secret warrior class, but known to be an actual warrior, not just a pilot. So that's interesting that they didn't send a pilot. They sent a warrior instead. They expected something was going to happen. They were hoping something was going to happen. So much subterfuge in this. I'm loving it, right? It's like very cloak and dagger. He's just a regular guy and he's a good guy and he's hoping that things are, going to be good. And he's really disappointed that she betrays him and she keeps on betraying him. And then at one point says, don't tell him that we met each other. Don't tell him what we saw each other's faces because they weren't supposed to know that they look just like each other. The only difference is the shape and the color of the crystal in their forehead, right? So also it's kind of important that the Agorian, the dude, he actually had a vision. He got somebody speaking, and the Zertonian says it's their god who's speaking to them, saying that they have to combine the and fix the great sphere, right? The sacred ring. They put it together, then the Zertonians and the Argonians will be able to become one. All will become one, right? Till all are one. But meanwhile, it's said later on by some of the Agorians and Zertonians, if they ever combined those, then it would wake up Golgion or something like that. Is that just another name for Unicron? And that's why I came up with that idea. And I'm like, oh, this actually looks like, because it does. It does. So digging all of these things happening here, she keeps on betraying him. She keeps on showing how she has zero remorse, zero sympathy for this guy, but he keeps on like a dog. believing in her. Maybe it'll pay off, but is what it is. I also think at one point they kind of, got together because there was like a scene where it looked like they did, but it was kept ambiguous. But it looks like they did, and from everything else, it seems as though they absolutely did. They definitely saw each other's faces and know that they are the same, pretty much, right? And nobody's supposed to know this. None of the citizenry of either planet is supposed to know this, but the top dogs of each, at the very least, know this, and several others as well. Several close royal guards of each. Now we go to Zertonia because that's where the chick is from. Turns the guy in, and you come to and all the people get to see what his mask looks like, but doesn't get to see what his actual real face looks like. But he gets to see all of them, even though he's already seen because of her. She gets thrown in jail also because the main dude realizes that she revealed her face and saw his also. They she's just banded a traitor, but there's some secret cult that comes in and shows up and gives her something that she puts in her pocket. A secret organization comes in and rescues him. He says he's not going to go anywhere without her, so they go and they wind up getting almost caught, and then they leave. They're able to escape, and they go off to some barren land. This is the end of issue 6. They go off to the barren wastelands or something like that. Basically, someplace kind of like New Jersey, but the northern part. The way, way, way north of it, like Bayonne and all that stuff, Yeah, just blah, blah, blah. Y'all can take that part. I'm good. But anyway, this is the kind of stuff that they're dealing with at this point. You also realize that the power shift and the difference between the Agorians, where everybody's leading a fruitful life, and the Zertonians, where only the leadership and the elite are actually doing well. It almost looks like the Hunger Games, right? He's got a huge table full of food. Meanwhile, everybody else is starving and barely has enough water to drink. So I'm digging where this is going. I'm loving the story so far, and I can't wait for more issues to come out. This is a fantastic story. You keep on seeing little surprise appearances here and there by some of the Transformers and whatnot. Oh, the Quintessons actually realize at one point, they're like, oh, the Zertonians, they don't care anything about the Agorians, but like with the Zertonians, where the chick is from, they're like, oh man, hey, this, so they actually made it. This was 200 years ago. We don't have time to deal with this stuff right now, but maybe we can send out some spies, some feelers, and try and find out where the Zertonians actually went to. But the fact that they still exist and they're doing ships like this is very interesting. Okay, good to know. I have no idea what this stuff is supposed to mean, but we will have all this stuff revealed to us in time, I imagine. Fantastic story, and I can't recommend it enough. Also can't recommend enough my books, which are going to be coming out this Friday. I'm going for a whole month doing this Kickstarter right here. So check out my 2 RPG books, one about how to make riddles and one about how to make traps for your RPG needs. Anyway, guys, that's it for me, and I will talk to all y'all later. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.